I feel like the group is small enough to where we could probably just all introduce ourselves. Is that okay? Dorothy, it looks like you might have a few people from the neighborhood. So I'll start. My name is Amanda Brown. I'm with Kimley Horn and helping out the developer who you'll meet here in a little bit with the annexation and zoning. We'll obviously talk more about that as we get through it. Jessica, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Hi, everybody. Jessica Bro. I work for Amazon's economic development team. So we'll be talking to you all this evening about some projects that we're considering in the area.
Mark, do you want to go?
Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Hansen. I work for Amazon. I was the development manager on the project doing the transaction. And Maria Poyer is my colleague, and she'll be running the entitlements, but she is out sick today. So it'll just be Jessica and I running the show with Amanda.
She's playing hooky, huh?
Yeah.
All right, Vivek, you're next on my screen, so you're up.
Okay, hi, I'm Vivek Deshpande. I'm a transportation engineer with Kimley Horn.
Thank you. Kate, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm Kate Stankevich, and I'm helping Vivek out. I work for Kimley Horn too.
Awesome. Phil?
Yes, thank you. Phil Kaufman. I am a site civil engineer with Kimley Horn.
All right. Jonathan?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jonathan. I work with Amanda at Kimley Horn.
All right. Thank you, guys. I think that was everybody from our team. I can't see everybody. Did I miss anyone? All right. I know there's some city staff people here. We're super grateful that y'all were able to come. If y'all want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Joe Breen, Director of Community Development for the city.
Excellent. All right, Dorothy.
Brad Wiseman, Director of Planning and Development Services.
Thank you, Brad. I'm sorry, I couldn't see your name. All right, Dorothy, would you like to start off with the Chisholm Valley neighborhood introductions?
All I see here is letters. So I don't know who's who. So that, you know, so I can't introduce anybody except for me, Dorothy Pistole, and I'm the current president and probably the president forever because nobody else will ever take the job of the Chisholm Valley Neighborhood Association. And who's here? Who else is here from Chisholm Valley?
I'm here, Amy Schumann.
Hey,
Can you
Amy.
hear me? I've been a homeowner here for 26 years.
Thank you for coming. Anybody else from Chisholm Valley want to introduce themselves? It's totally fine if you don't want to. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a presentation prepared. I can figure out my computer. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
I can see an AB. Yes.
Yeah, not yet.
I can see
Amanda. I don't see your slides just yet.
Okay. But you can, Dorothy, right?
I can see the letters A and B. Yes. I can't see your screen.
I can see 2801 County Road 172.
Perfect. That's what we're looking for. I'll try to share again.
Okay. I now see the screen that says Round Rock Development Project Annexation and Zoning Application. Yes.
All right, we're there. Okay. So thank you again. I really appreciate everybody coming to attend this meeting. We are here to talk about a potential development near the Chisholm Valley neighborhood. And that's what we're here to discuss tonight. It will involve an annexation and a rezoning. And we're really just here tonight to kind of start a conversation. We want to explain what the current plan is. And we're also here to listen. We want to understand any concerns that you may have in the area, with regards to the project, and then also be able to answer any questions that you have. And then, this is very early in the process. We haven't submitted anything to the city yet. That will be happening soon. But we wanted to touch base with the neighborhood early in the process to be able to kind of start the conversation and hopefully have a dialogue of collaboration. So generally, this is where the property is. This is bounded by CR172 here. This is the Chisholm Valley neighborhood in this area. This is the Round Rock West neighborhood. This is State Highway 45, and then McNeil. So I wanted to show the jurisdictional map to kind of explain the application process that we're going to be going through. So this property is currently in the Round Rock ETJ. So, when we first started talking about the site, we kind of went down two paths of just developing the site in Williamson County and maintain the property in the ETJ. But after meeting with staff and talking to council members, there was a strong desire for us to annex into the city, so the city of Round Rock could take advantage of the tax increase and the property taxes that will be generated by this development. So that's what we're here to talk to you tonight about, the annexation of this property into the city of Round Rock, and then also the zoning that we're pursuing. With that, I'm going to kind of give it off to Jessica, who's going to be talking and explaining a little bit more about Amazon's goals for this site.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, Amanda, and appreciate everyone giving us a little bit of your time this evening. So again, my name is Jessica Bro. I work for Amazon's economic development team and support our projects throughout the Southeast, and certainly have spent a lot of time working on various projects in Texas. So a little bit about what we're considering here, and just a little bit honestly about Amazon in general. So pretty much all of the projects that we work on are really with the idea of improving the customer experience. So how do we help our customers get things faster, get the things that you need, absolutely when you need them, and again, just overall improving that experience for you. So that's really what we're doing here, is we're looking at some long range and long-term planning development. As the Austin region grows, certainly so does our customer base. And so we're trying to get out ahead of knowing that, eventually we'll need some additional Amazon facilities within the region to be able to better serve our customers. And so that's what we're starting to work on. These are what we would be looking at here is potentially the development of 2 facilities that support our ability to fulfill customer orders, and then also improve our delivery efficiencies and you things faster, and essentially, again, just about improving the overall experience. We do, because we're doing some long range planning, certainly have an idea of what we would do at these locations and at these facilities, but there is some flexibility that we're building in, and certainly working closely with the city and with Kimley Horn as our engineers on the project to do that. But understanding the types of facilities we would have and sort of the variety in those, we are looking at the possibility of creating more than 800 new and full-time jobs at this location. And all of those full-time jobs do start, all of our Amazon associates have a starting pay of at least $15 per hour. And they also get full benefits on their very first day of employment. So these are great quality jobs that we would love to bring to the Round Rock area, and certainly, would love to make those opportunities available to residents in your neighborhoods, as you would have such close proximity to the facilities. And then just lastly, Amazon in general, and certainly we'll be happy to answer questions after Amanda works through the presentation. But from a general Amazon perspective, just a couple of things that are important to us in any community that we are locating, and I'll run through those quickly. But like I said, happy to dive in deeper on any of these things as we go through this evening. But From a community engagement standpoint, we look to partner with communities really in 3 buckets. The first being STEM education. So we support schools with a program called Amazon Future Engineer, which is essentially computer science and STEM education training curriculum that you can find in elementary and middle schools, as well as professional development opportunities for teachers in those schools as well. The second bucket is what we call right now needs, which is Amazon's approach to supporting individuals that are experiencing hunger or homelessness. And then last but not least, we do a great deal of work as it relates to disaster recovery. And so when regions, for instance, the ice storm that, unfortunately impacted Texas earlier this year, our team and boots on the ground there did tons of work with making sure people had supplies like bottled water and access to food and things like that. So we hope we never have to use that, but we certainly know that, disasters, the potential to impact all of us. So it's important that we play a role in helping our customers recover from that. The second option or bullet point there is Amazon's Career Choice Program. And so we just recently announced some renovations and revamps to our Career Choice, where now our associates will be able to participate in this program after they have been with the company for 90 days. And Career Choice is Amazon's professional development and employer training program, where we pay 100% of tuition for our associates to be able to go back to school and get certificates or degrees or specialized training, associate programs in fields that they want to pursue for their careers. So we love that program. We've had a lot of associates take advantage of it and are very excited. That program, you used to have to be with the company for a year to be able to participate in Career Choice. But with the changes that are coming, that will take effect this coming January, after 90 days, our associates will be able to participate in Career Choice. So we are very excited about that as well. From a military veteran and spouse hiring standpoint, we just recently made a significant commitment to hire more than 400,000 military veterans and spouses by 2024. We have a lot of military veterans that work within our Amazon facilities now. It's been a great experience for them and a great experience for us. And so we're really just doubling down on that and are super excited about opportunities from that perspective as well. Sustainability. You may have heard of Amazon talk about the climate pledge before. That's our commitment to be 100% renewable and our focus on, also reducing carbon within our facilities and within the delivery network. We have lots of goals related to sustainability, but the climate pledge in and of itself is our complete goal to be 100% renewable by 2040. So lots of work happening in this space as well. Small business engagement, I'd like to mention this because a lot of people I think aren't aware of this program, but we have something called the Small Business Academy, which operates via our Amazon platform. It can be available and it is open to not only small businesses that sell on Amazon, but then also any small business. So there are opportunities for you to learn about how to be a seller, but then there's also things, you can learn about business planning or how to market your business on social media. So lots of opportunities for us to engage with and support small businesses. We have thousands of small business sellers across the state of Texas who all, utilize Amazon as a platform and one of the ways that they reach their customers. So we like to talk about that expanded offering. And then sort of tying into the next opportunity from diversity and inclusion, a couple of things to mention here. So related to Amazon's Career Choice Program, we did recently add English as a second language as part of the options for our associates. So that is now part of our Career Choice Program, where Amazon will support and pay for our associates to receive that training. And then also related to small business, we made a commitment to Black-owned businesses earlier this year and created the Black Business Accelerator. We're investing millions of dollars in training, Black entrepreneurs on all sorts of things, again, related to selling on Amazon, but then also just growing their business in general, providing mentor opportunities and lots of other funding and financial assistance as well. So those are, again, just a couple of high points of different things and that you would see us do as we come into the Round Rock community as a new corporate citizen. I didn't mention this specifically earlier, but will now. So certainly, I mentioned that this was a long play for us and long-term planning. So we don't have immediate, immediate plans to begin construction, but certainly, again, wanted to make neighbors aware of what we were considering here, what we're working on, and again, to Amanda's point earlier, just start the dialogue with you all well in advance so that you know what we're planning on doing, and we can work on any concerns that you all have together.
Thank you, Jessica. So as Jessica mentioned, this plan is not set in stone. This is a very conceptual sort of building layout that may change over time. So this site plan, again, is very conceptual in nature, but does contemplate having 2 buildings and shows the general building layout here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the constraints of the site that have sort of dictated the design thus far. So here is McNeil Road again, and along here is the Union Pacific Railroad. The floodplain is kind of demarcated here by this hatching, and this is the property that will be annexing and rezoning, and again is CR172. Here you can see Chisholm Valley neighborhood and then Round Rock West. So since we have chosen to go through the path of annexation, we will also need to be pursuing a zoning. So we'll be submitting an annexation and a zoning application together. The purpose of the zoning is to allow for a limited warehousing and distribution facility. So while they are flexible in nature in terms of exactly what type of facility they will be, it will all be warehousing and distribution. That will not change. So we're pursuing a planned unit development, or a PUD, with a base zoning of light industrial to allow for that use. So the reasoning behind requesting the PUD is to make a modification to the city code to allow this most southern building to increase in height to 120 feet. The current code under LI allows for 2 stories with no restrictions on the actual feet of the height, but limits it to 2 stories. So the purpose of that is to allow for storage of goods. It's not going to increase the intensity of the development. It won't increase the traffic of the development. It really is just to allow for the storage of goods.
Okay, the 120 feet is how many stories?
I believe it'll be, I don't know if Jessica, you can answer that question. I believe it'll be around 3 stories. It's just the stories are big.
Okay, yeah, because you have lots of stuff stored in. Okay.
Exactly.
Correct.
So it's really, I mean, it's not
I'll just clarify. I believe it's 4.5 stories.
Right.
Is
Thank you, Phil.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's 4.5,
it's
and this is Mark Hansen, and the the top 3.5 stories are only for inventory storage, and so there's minimal amount of workers on those floors. Most of the employees are on the first floor.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so this next portion of the presentation, Jessica kind of already touched on this, but Amazon, in any communities that they go into, go really above and beyond to understand the impact that they will have on the neighborhoods, and also make every effort they can to mitigate if needed. So this is one example of that. This is so what we've done is taken, and the whole intent behind this is to understand the visual impact from people's homes, from the residences that are going to be adjacent to this neighborhood, and really understand what the visual impact is gonna be. So we went out and took photos from various areas around the proposed development. So we actually took pictures and then inserted a rendering of what the potential building will look like, so we can better understand what it's going to look like from the residential homes. So you can kind of see, I'm going to try to explain sort of how to navigate it, and we can kind of go back and forth if needed. But this number 1 is the first, angle of the photo, and then number 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there's going to be a before of the existing image, and then an after of the building as if it had been built. But it's just a rendering, so you'll understand. So this is from McNeil before, and then this is after. And then this is number 2. This is from this spot. This is the before and then after. And then number 3, moving a little bit south, before and after. And then number 4, kind of down here, furthest south, before and after. This one's kind of weird. You can't really see any. This is very little impact over here. And then this will be number 5, and what it will look like from that angle.
This is Amy Schumann. Is that the only entryway on the County Road 172?
It is not. There's multiple entryways on County Road 172, and we can. Vivek, do you want to?
Sure.
Explain the entryways and then get into the trip distribution. I'm going to go back to this slide. So you can kind of see the proposed entryways along County Road 172.
Right. So preliminarily for now, I think we are looking at 5 access points, 5 side driveways along County Road 172. There's one of the 2 of the major ones. There's one that lines up with Hester's Crossing, kind of in the middle of the screen. And then immediately to the north of that, there's another side driveway that'll line up with Martin Avenue. And then there's another one further to the north of that, just south of Chisholm Valley Drive. And then there are 2 more driveways further to the south as you get closer to State Highway 45. So there are 5 on 172. And then there's 1 driveway along the access road for State Highway 45.
And then I would also just mention,
I just have a follow-up question. I know, like at 5 o'clock, it's nearly impossible to turn left off of Chisholm Valley onto 172. Is there any talks of putting a light there to deal with? I mean, I don't know. Have y'all talked about traffic at that intersection?
Amy, are you talking about this one here?
Yeah, Chisholm Valley and 172. If there's going to be an additional entry point or exit point from the parking lot there.
So there is no driveway that aligns with Chisholm Valley. So we did not look at specifically that intersection, but we are looking at traffic along overall County Road 172 and some of the other intersections, specifically where the side driveways will enter or exit out of the site.
Is it possible for y'all to do some kind of road survey, around 5 o'clock when people are getting off of work and just, I mean, you can't, and Dorothy, do you have any input there? When people are trying to exit or leave the neighborhood or go home, even going, down 172 to get to McNeil, traffic's just really backed up and you can't, I'm just thinking of what could happen there. If people are trying to, leave your facility and turn left or turn right, and people are trying to turn left out of the neighborhood.
Joe, is that something that we need to get together with, that Amazon needs to get together with traffic about those concerns for city's traffic?
Yeah, what most likely is going to happen is when we receive their application for development, traffic is going to be a huge consideration, and likely a traffic impact analysis study is going to be part of their application, and their traffic volumes are going to impact County Road 172, and that's how the city gauges whether or not to install infrastructure along roads. Whenever we put out a traffic control device like a stop sign or a stoplight, it has to meet traffic warrants. Basically, it has to meet, the volume required has to necessitate the installation of that infrastructure. So obviously, this is going to have an impact on County Road 172. And as they get a little further into the process, they'll be able to estimate their traffic counts, and we can take that into consideration for what, traffic mitigation infrastructure we have available to help meet that.
There are times of the day when it's virtually impossible to turn left off of Martin. I live off of Martin. And having an entrance to the facility off of Martin is going to make it even worse.
Okay. Yeah, it's likely we don't have anything currently in Martin because that intersection is not even in city limits. So, that's something we will definitely look at as far as when an application is submitted and what's going to trigger the installation of traffic control devices.
Well, the county road isn't even part of the city limits and never will be. It's county road. So you're going to have to go through Wilco.
So, sorry, Joe, I'm just going to make one clarification. With the rezoning, excuse me, with the annexation, we will be annexing the road as well.
Well, I hope y'all can do something to mitigate the traffic because it's horrible now and it's only going to be worse.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that's probably good. I'm going to move to this next slide so Vivek can explain how the inner workings of Amazon is structured to impact the traffic of the community to the greatest extent possible. And I just wanted to quickly, Vivek, I'm just going to explain that, when the Robinsons own this property and, went out to bid for people to provide, to go out to sell this property. They had many developers that wanted to do all single family or multifamily with a combination of retail. And so we wanted to put this comparison together for you guys to kind of see the differences in traffic impact between, what we're proposing to do and also what very likely could be done on this site.
Thank you for the tee up, Amanda. But we wanted to talk a little bit about what is the traffic that is likely to be generated by the proposed development. And they have these buildings and facilities across the nation have a really rich data on exactly by time of day how much traffic is going to enter the site, how much is going to exit the site. And try to do a good job of stagger the hours so that the maximum amount of traffic coming in and out of the site does not match up with the regular commuter hours that are on the roadway. So we actually collected existing traffic counts on the adjacent road. So we got counts on County Road 172 on a 24-hour basis, how much traffic is going through there, and few of the other intersections as well. And so what we saw that, and I'm sure y'all know this firsthand, the morning rush hour traffic happens between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. In the afternoon, the rush hour, that happens in the hour between the hours of 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. So the traffic that will be generated by the site, that it's a little bit offset from these times so that it helps the overall traffic coming in and going out. But for the proposed development, between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., we expect approximately 650 vehicles that will be it's combination of entering and exiting. So that's total number of traffic trips that are coming in and out of the site. In the afternoon rush hour between 5 and 6, we anticipate approximately 720, 718 to be precise. And if we contrast that by, say, like a hypothetical development, like Amanda was just referenced, if this were to be a kind of like a multifamily, we see those popping up across the town everywhere. And we took some rules of thumb for the available area for the land that we have. A multifamily would generate approximately 826 trips in the morning rush hour, and about over 1,365 trips in the afternoon rush hour, so significantly higher. We also looked at, okay, on a daily basis, what, how much traffic would be generated, and the proposed development would be approximately 70% lower than the hypothetical multifamily retail combo of development. So considerably lower daily trips that will be generated. We definitely will be looking at some of those cross streets that were mentioned earlier. There's Hester's Crossing or Martin, and we are working with the city to figure out how the traffic looks at those intersections, and we'll be studying more on those. So that's a quick nutshell, quick summary of from a traffic perspective.
Thank you, Vivek. And I don't know if you already mentioned this. I don't think you did, but can maybe somebody from the Amazon team or Vivek talk about how the conscious shifting of the employees at Amazon works?
Sure, I can jump in, Amanda. So we do work really hard to intentionally keep our shift change as much as we can out of the morning rush hour and the afternoon rush hour. So depending again on the type of facility that we end up locating here, we would expect the majority of our associates to arrive prior to that 7 a.m. And then for our delivery stations, the last mile facility, which we already operate one of those in Round Rock, we have delivery vans that dispatch from those buildings, and we intentionally have those delivery vans dispatch between about 9 in the morning and 11:30 in the morning, so that we're absolutely avoiding that morning rush hour traffic when those vans are leaving the station. And then typically they're running about an 8 to 10 hour route. So they're coming back to the station between about 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. So again, intentionally avoiding that afternoon rush hour. So we definitely look at those things and consider those things. We will continue working with the city on our traffic study, and certainly analyzing and making improvements as needed, so that we're not, negatively impacting quality of life.
Thank you. So another effort that Amazon has made to kind of just understand and potentially mitigate any issues with the development is doing a noise study. So we went out and measured the current noise. They measured in decibels. I feel like I have an associate's degree in noise studies now, so if you have any questions, let me know. So we looked at the current noise levels, and then did a study as to what the noise levels with the development, how that would impact the existing current noise levels, both from McNeil Road and then also along CR172. So just to kind of give you an idea of what, who knows what a decibel is, I certainly didn't before this. But if you look at this chart over to the right, it kind of gives you a good idea. So 60 decibels is an air conditioner, 45 decibels is the sound of a running refrigerator, and then it progressively gets louder and louder. 70 decibels is a vacuum cleaner, et cetera, et cetera. So current noise levels are between along McNeil are at 67 decibels, and along CR172 are 62 decibels. And then the noise generated by the development is going to be less than what is currently out there. So it'll be 50 decibels at nighttime, and then 55 decibels at daytime. So that'll be, excuse me, 55 decibels at daytime. Sorry, this is supposed to be daytime. And then I put in the Round Rock City Code just for a comparison as how we'll be compared to the code, which requires 75 decibel limit at nighttime and 80 decibels during the daytime. So that kind of explains so really we don't anticipate there being any noise impact from the development, both including like the trucks at all on the neighborhood.
Amanda, how is it possible to have less noise now than there is now when there's nothing over there right now?
So the current noise that exists, our development will be along with that noise, it'll just be less. So it's not going to make it any louder.
How can you make it less is my question.
Let me jump in. So the way that the current noise levels were obtained is we use noise meters, but not actually on the site itself. We use them where the houses are, where y'all are living. We wanted to understand what is the noise that you all hear today based on the traffic, based on all the, everything going on under the existing conditions. And similarly, when we modeled it, we didn't model the noise that was literally coming off of the truck if you're standing in the truck court, but what is the noise that Amazon is going to create to the neighborhood, to the various surrounding areas. So all of these are taken essentially right immediately outside the neighborhood.
Perfect. Thank you, Phil.
Help
Well
clarify?
said.
Okay, it still doesn't make sense to me that how you can make less noise than an empty lot.
So we're not claiming, Dorothy, that the noise is less. We're saying that it's not more. So like the site is generating a noise level of 50 to 55 decibels, where what you're currently experiencing is the 67.
All right, I got it now.
62.
You're not saying
So-
you're going to you give us less noise. You're saying right now in Chisholm Valley, it's 67. So you anticipate generating less noise than we generate already. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And with that, that concludes our presentation. So we are happy to answer any more questions that you have, open to listening to any concerns that you have. And happy to go back through any of the slides if you'd like to.
Yeah, hi, Jeff Hillman here, a property owner in Chisholm Valley and Round Rock West. Can you speak to what you learned, the Amazon team, on how the introduction of a distribution center like this impacts the value of the surrounding neighborhoods, either positively or negatively? And if it does increase the value of those, is there any kind of mitigation for the influx of higher property taxes with that increase in value?
Sure. So we don't actually, I don't have a study per se of impact on property value, because that's all very relative to really the location and other developments that are happening in the area. We are not, though, aware of a negative impact on property values related to the development of our sites. What I will say is certainly, what we anticipate from a capital investment standpoint in developing these buildings is somewhere between 130 to 250 million in capital investment, and so that will certainly feed into the city's revenue generation from a property tax standpoint. So, and don't have I will say this, I'm not as familiar with what your, residential property taxes are in Round Rock, but I can speak to the fact that we would be, injecting revenue into the local economy versus taking it out. So certainly from that standpoint, see there are benefits when industry grow in any city because they're adding to that property tax revenue.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there.
This is Amy. Go ahead.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, this is Amy Schumann again. I just have one concern I want to express. My house is actually on Chisholm Valley, which is already a pretty busy street. My only concern is the drivers as they leave or come back to the facility using our street as a cut through to get to IH-35. So our street would get even busier. If that makes sense.
You mean specifically Chisholm Valley, like your road?
Correct, my road, which is a
Sure.
very busy road as it is, and the delivery drivers using it to get to IH-35 because they can just jump on the road there.
Sure. So part of what we have done in other places where residents have had that concern and certainly are open to having this conversation with the city as well, we can restrict traffic. And, obviously we want you to get your packages, right? So we want to make sure that drivers who are making deliveries in the neighborhood are able to access it, but we can work with our team to limit the ability for our drivers to access the road as a cut through or a pass through. And we can do that in a couple different ways. We can block that out on their GPS that they use to, navigate their routes. We have morning or daily meetings each morning with the drivers. So certainly as the station would get up and operational, if you were seeing that as a potential issue and having a challenge with it, we would encourage you to have that outreach with us so that we can make sure we're addressing it directly with the drivers and helping to avoid that situation.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there, this is Yannicka Parrish. I may have missed it. Has there been an environmental impact study done specifically in regards to groundwater and the impact of all these vehicles on our water system, as well as a wildlife impact study?
I'll let Kimley Horn take that one. I'm not as up to speed on all the due diligence we have in progress.
Yeah, the answer certainly for the environmental, we have performed or another consultant performed an environmental study looking at any potential impact that will be submitted to the city and will be public record and can be shared via that method. We also looked at high level, not so much how we would be impacting necessarily, but if there were any endangered species on site. Confirming that our development wouldn't create any negative issues with anything like that. We really found no in our endangered species. We looked at just trying to think at the wetlands. We did a flood study. You can see the floodplain in the bottom left, confirming that our development would have no negative impact to the floodplain. We feel like we've done comprehensive reviews of just about everything, trying to avoid any negative impact to any of the surrounding areas. Oh, and I apologize about that.
No worries.
Was that you, Phil? I'm kidding.
All right. Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. Mary Matthew, I live in Chisholm Valley neighborhood. I may have missed it, but what is the timeline on all this?
The timeline is a little bit fluid. So we are probably looking at construction, honestly, sometime within about 3 to 5 years. So not an immediate development of the site, but we are, again, wanting to work really closely with the city, with city staff, and with you all, so that we're engaging you very early in the process. And certainly, this is not intended to be a one and done sort of conversation. Absolutely expect that you all will have other questions that come up as we work through the process. And so we'll make ourselves available to answer those for you as you think of them. If you're like me, I hang up and then that's when I think of my questions. So fully expect there to be some follow-up with this group.
And I think as far as the rezoning and the entitlements process itself, that will be happening sooner. While the construction is probably 3 to 5 years out, we'll be submitting our application this month. And you can expect to see these on hearings in November and December.
Thank you.
Just for clarification, this is Dorothy. Just for clarification, how many staff members do you have? Because at one point there was 13 people plus the alphabet I have there. So how many staff members do you have that are online?
From Amazon, there's 2 of us, so myself and Mark, and then certainly from the Kimley Horn perspective, there are a few people that are doing different disciplines. So I am not an engineer, don't claim to be, so we make sure we hire the best engineers we can to work with us on things like civil design, traffic, environmental studies, noise studies. So we just wanted to make sure that we had all of those experts who have been working on the site available so we could answer questions for you all in an efficient way.
Okay, I just looks like there was about 20 people total on the call, which is good. So we have some of our neighbors who want to hear what's going on, and I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody from the neighborhood who came online, as well as all of you who gave us your expertise.
Absolutely. And you have my contact, Dorothy. If you, feel free to send it out, and I'm happy to field any questions later, and even do more meetings if necessary. So,
Okay.
Sorry, Phil, I think I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say, I can see the kind of attendees list here. It does look like there's about 10 folks from Chisholm Valley.
10 from the neighborhood. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we won't take up any more of y'all's evening. Thank you so much for spending it with us, and look forward to working with you guys. And thank you to the city staff members that came as well. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you.